9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Barbecue Central Radio Show will air live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Barbecue Central Radio Show will air live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
This is Chad Hayden with Moonshiners Barbecue's 19th Annual Jack Daniel's World Barbecue Champion, and this is Barbecue Central. This is Chad Hayden with Moonshiners Barbecue's 19th Annual Jack Daniel's World Barbecue Champion, and this is Barbecue Central.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. Broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, more than happy to have you. A toll-free, a phone call, 216-220-0966. You can also email the show, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. But I have to say, at this point, I don't know how this could possibly happen, and I'm getting a word in from LA Talk Radio, who is the longtime, very first syndication partner of the show, saying that my website, thebbqcentralshow.com, is expired.
Get that free stuff out of here.
I don't know how the hell that can happen. I pay HostGator every 6 months on that son of a bitch. Is that true? Everybody go to www.thebbqcentralshow.com. Oh my God. If you registered this domain name as a direct customer of Melbourne, oh man. How the hell does this happen? How does this happen?
Get that free stuff out of here.
I am at a complete loss for words here. How do I get it renewed? What do I do? I don't even know. No, none of it works. Oh my God.
Get that free stuff out of here.
I'm recording a show tonight that is going to be going nowhere quick. What?
Get that free stuff out of here.
Oh. What the hell happened to my goddamn website? This is outrageous. Well, the only thing I know how to do now is keep everything going. Oh, geez. Well, not even everybody. I'm sure everybody can see me now.
Get that free stuff out of here.
All I can say is that if you're listening on the audio, well, you're probably not even listening on the audio stream. That's the problem. Folks, if you're seeing me now and you're hearing me now, I have been talking for the last couple minutes that my website somehow has inexplicably expired.
Get big stuff out of here.
TheBBQCentralShow.com. I don't know what happened. I have been paying HostGator for space on this. Is this just the domain? Like, am I... Where the hell do I even go to renew it? Oh, my God. I need it, like, immediately. I don't even know what to do. I'm flustered. I mean, you're seeing me on Outdoor Cooking Channel, but my main website where everything happens is gone. Oh, sweet McGillicuddy. How do I renew it? Continue. Enter the domain name you would like to renew. TheBBQCentralShow.com. Has somebody already bought it? I'm sure, right? Somebody's probably already bought it. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All right, let's go here. Area code 208, name and where you're calling from. Hello. No, all right. No 208. All right.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Well, something's going to have to get rectified here, like, right now. And I don't know how to do that. Ronan, is that, do I just renew on that link that's there? Sorry, folks, for the terrible open here, but needless to say, we've gone to a fevered pitch. I don't know what to do. Nor do I understand how this could have happened. Outrageous. Oh, my. I'm going to have to go to my domain website. 208, name and where you're calling from.
Hey, Greg, this is Patio Daddy, your local IT support staff.
Oh, my God.
Central Radio Show.
Things are going crazy. What is going on, John?
You have been paying for hosting, but you did not re-register your domain, which expired on the 10th, I think it was the 14th.
That was yesterday, right?
So you still own it, but it's in flux. So if you don't go pay for it soon, someone's going to snap it up, and then you're going to be held ransom for your own domain name. But that usually takes a while.
Where do I get it? Like how? Where do I go?
Well, here's what you do. Just Google the term "who is," like the word "who" and "is" all jammed together in one word.
Yep.
You'll go to a site, hit the first Google search result, and then put in your domain name minus the www part. So just put in the bbqcentralshow.com. It will show you your address, that you still own it, when it expired, who the registrar is, and who the administrative contact is. And typically, that's who you have to pay.
The administrative contact.
Yeah, you are considered I believe you're listed as the registrant. I wanted to call you quickly so I could skim through it. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, it looks like I have a the registrar info. That's who I need to pay?
Yep.
Melbourne IT?
Yep. That's probably some holding company for some like register.com or whoever you initially registered with.
All right. So I just got to do that and pay, and then automatically it just gets restored and everything is good and golden again?
Yeah, it's not instantaneous. It'll probably could take up to 24 hours.
Yeah.
12 to 24 hours.
All right. But in short order, more or less.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, my
And just so you know, you are live on the TuneIn Radio, so you got that going for you.
All right. Well, good. There's one thing going for us in Cleveland, and we damn sure know it ain't the football team, John.
That's right, baby. I saw a little Bengals tussle you guys had in the over there in the dog pound.
Thank God Reggie Kelly isn't calling me up, taking me to the woodshed about how they worked us this past weekend. Nevertheless, all right, man. I appreciate the on-time, on-site JIT IT info, and I will get that rectified right after the show. You can bet your sweet pants.
Do it.
Thanks, John. There he is.
My brother. Merry Christmas.
John Dawson. When was the last time you heard me at a loss for words? I'm like, I don't know. So, note to self, register not only hosting space, register the domain name. Otherwise, you could have some snot-nosed dick jerk your domain name from you, and then where? I mean, where would I be? That's me. That's the piece of real estate I would own on the internet. I would have to go, man, that would be my audio archive as well. I'm dipping into the bourbon right now. Oh, the pain is melting away with such sweet, succulent, smoky juice. All right, here's what's coming up on the show in 10 seconds. It's a King of the Smoker recap. Ryan Newstrom from Big T's Q Crew, Joe Beelan, Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew, Sterling Ball, Big Papa Smokers, creator of King of the Smokers. We're going to try and give away some stuff as well at 10:35. So stay tuned for a great show. Let me quickly tell you about David Bosca and the great folks over at Butcher Barbecue. If you are like me, you're looking for ways to step up that barbecue and grilling game, no better or easier way to do that than by adding a little Butcher Barbecue to that arsenal. We all know Butcher's is well known for the injections, the pork injection, the beef injection, the prime injection, which has combined all things loved from their beef injection, using its award-winning flavor enhancer, its ability to keep your brisket juicy. They have combined it with what has become the competition standard in beef flavor. It's available for sale right now at butcherbbq.com. Don't forget, Bird Booster, all flavors, all forms, all fashions, available for sale at butcherbbq.com as well. Now, perhaps you're looking for a go-to rub or sauce. Friends, you've hit the mother lode here as well. Butcher's has a full line of award-winning barbecue rubs, one of my personal favorites. For the beef is that steak and brisket rub, of course. When it comes to the pork and the chicken, honey rub, all about it for me. 50% of what I have deemed the North Coast offense. That's garnered quite a bit of attention here over the last 6 or 7 months since I've introduced my version of it. It is formulated, and this is the premium rub now that I'm talking about, to work with the injection. Perfect 1-2 punch to impress judges and friends alike. Last but not least, Butcher's Barbecue Sweet Barbecue Sauce, winning in every category for me. Not overly sweet, a nice slice of tang, just the right amount of back-end heat for crying out loud. No liquid smoke. Dave took the time and effort to make a quality sauce, and he didn't take the easy way out like a lot of sauces do anymore by adding that liquid smoke. Grab a box of 6. It's going to go fast. Don't worry about breaking the bank on shipping. Very reasonable rates. The bottom line is this. You get $200.01 in total. It ships for free. Can't get any better than that. Head on over to butcherbbq.com and stock up now. That's butcherbbq.com. Butcherbbq.com. Always trust your butcher. We are back with Ryan Newstrom, Big T's Q Crew, right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. My first guest tonight has been a force on the competition circuit for a while now, coming back from the King of the Smokers, where he took Co-GC, some guy named Darren Worth of Iowa Smoky D's. He's an up-and-comer. Here to recap the event and the win is the pitmaster of Big T's Q Crew. Let's go ahead and race over to the hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Ryan Newstrom, joining us. Ryan, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you doing, Greg?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Ryan. Appreciate you taking the time out to join me this evening and do a little King of the Smoke. I mean, we're a little heavy on King of the Smokers tonight for the folks that are just crawling out of their proverbial barbecue rocks to take in the show tonight. You are a co-champion. I guess maybe that's right where we should start, right? The main question that everybody wants to know. Ryan, given the caliber of cook at this event, the caliber of team, you have this great location, you have this defined style of cook where you're not allowed to use pit minders, i.e. barbecue gurus, or pellet cookers and so forth. Did you think that during the course of this weekend there was ever a shot at coming out a co-grand champion?
Well, first of all, Greg, I'd like to maybe just start out the discussion by giving a little thanks to Sterling Ball and his crew at Big Papa Smokers for just an amazing weekend. I mean, it's truly the best competition that Competition Barbecue has to offer. For me personally, it's difficult for me to overstate the amount of respect that I have for Sterling and his vision for Competition Barbecue and where it's going, as well as the amount of work that him and his crew put in to facilitate us getting there. I mean, in addition to, like you already said, the amazing contest put on by La Quinta Resort, to thank them as well, $15,000 was raised this weekend for Operation Barbecue Relief, an organization, that we can all get behind, that I support myself personally.
Yep.
And in addition, $1.35 million check was presented on behalf of the Casey Lee Ball Foundation to pediatric kidney research at UCLA. And just thinking back 4 to 5 years ago, that this is something that we would be a part of. I mean, it's not something we could have ever imagined. So it's just truly humbling and amazing to be part of something like that.
That is a substantial amount of money to be giving, to any charity, but of course, the pediatric kidney research deal with Sterling obviously hits home to him, of course. But that is, regardless of the charity, I mean, that is a substantial amount to be able to give back.
Absolutely. But yeah, to get back to your question, this is our third year being there, and every year it's, truly an honor and distinction for our team to be a part of, the other 23 best of the best competitors handpicked by Sterling every year. Something that, even as well as we've done comparatively, I don't think it's something that we ever imagined that we would be in the position we are today after this weekend. We do have, compared to some of the guys that are cooking on, Fat Boys or pellet cookers that use electronic implements, we have an advantage that we are cooking on a Jambo, old-fashioned style. We have that process refined. So as far as that's concerned, that's really simple for us to transition to with that style of contest. But we do normally use, those oven thermoprobes to probe our meat, see where it's at, and use the alarms, that they go off. And that was kind of a new rule that was presented this year, that we couldn't use those. We could only use thermopens to check temperature of our meat. So that was kind of a challenge for us because I'd never really done that before. But I did get lucky a couple times with trying to pull my big meats off. I caught them at the right time. So that I felt pretty fortunate with that. And, overall, at the end of things, I was pretty happy with the cook. You never know what you're going to get in that cooler that they present you with all your competition meat. But had some pretty decent meat, and I thought, at the end of it, I kind of did as well as, we could with the meat that was presented.
You know, I wonder, Ryan, from a competitor's point of view, and obviously you're very fierce in quotation marks when it comes. You go to win to any competition. You go to win, especially something like this. Do you see anything that you think you left on the table that, and especially when you tie, right? I mean, I guess you're sitting there shoulder to shoulder with somebody else sharing accolades, and everybody's admittedly are not selfish and they want to win in all terms and forms and fashions. But do you see anything that you might have left on the table that you could have got a literally a 100th of a point that would have put you over the top?
I can't honestly imagine doing anything more. I mean, Darren and our score was almost 706 points, and 705.7 and something or other, going out 10 1/1000ths of a place, and for us, that's a higher score we've ever got. We've hit the 700 club twice before that, one other time this season, one time last season. But, to even sniff, that high of a score with that high caliber of teams, I wouldn't be able to pinpoint something that we could have done different to get, into the 706 or 707 score. I mean, you're talking, 14 points away from perfect in every single category. Which, I'm not going to stop improving my barbecue until we do that, but I don't think, that's possible to achieve.
So as I mentioned, you share Grand Championship honors with Iowa Smoky D's, Darren and Sherry Worth, and I'm wondering, if you can talk just for a second on your co-GC winner, Iowa Smoky D's. Certainly has seen their share of success over the years, to be sure, but this year they really seem to have a knack for knocking down the big ones during the course of 2014. From your vantage point, being a competitive cook yourself, seeing success and watching some of the other teams through the course of the year that are doing very well, how good of a season in your estimation is Iowa Smoky D's having in 2014?
How much time do we have here?
Right.
I could talk for a couple of hours. Darren, we do have the distinction of being from the same state and only living about 35 miles apart. I consider him a friend. I consider him a mentor. And even before, and I've told him this, so I can say it on the air, that, even before he knew me from Adam, when we were just getting started, he was somebody I looked up to. He was the original Iowa barbecuer. And I consider him one of my barbecue heroes. And, whatever you think of Iowa barbecue, I do not think that Iowa barbecue would be at the place that it is today without him. He is truly not only a great competitor, a legendary competitor, but a great person. But this season specifically, you're talking otherworldly status, in addition to all of the success that he's had over the years. It's kind of overwhelming and hard to articulate into words, exactly what him and Sherry are doing, and not only for, in terms of their competition barbecue, but, the things they're doing in their restaurant, the things they do on the other, on everything else that they do in their personal lives. It's amazing to sit back and watch them do what they do.
Ryan Newstrom is the pitmaster for Big T's Q Crew, joining us here on the show. The website, BigT'sTZBBQ.com, if you want to check it out here while we're recapping King of the Smokers and talking some barbecue in general here. Ryan, if I go back 3-4 years in my memory here real quick, I remember asking, it could have been you on a round table or just on a segment interview. It could have been any of the other guys from Iowa, but I remember a distinct point in time when Iowa decided that they were saying, F everybody else, we're going to be the epicenter of competition barbecue. You have Iowa Smoky D's, you have Big T's, you have Tippecanoe, you have Moqueson, you have Pigskin, and the list continues to grow. What is going on, or what continues to go on in Iowa that the rest of the country doesn't know about?
Yeah, I did realize I forgot to say something with your last question that's related to it. So if I could just for a moment.
Go ahead.
An interesting statistic. I like to keep track of weird statistics as we're barbecuing. As many times, we're from the same state. Darren and I have competed against each other. He probably doesn't even know this, but we have never been top 2 overall at the same contest.
Really?
Never once. Yeah. And so this is the very first time in all the times that we've competed. Obviously he's won many times, and we've had our fair share of wins, but we've never been 1-2. I've never beat him directly, and he's never beat me directly. So that's another interesting thing about
for sure
kind of our relationship. But to get back to your question, again, I think it starts back to Darren and just the domination he had in the state. Back in 2008 and 2009. I think in 2009 he was reserve team of the year for KCBS.
Yep.
And the vacuum that's created when you have one person that's kind of dominating a certain region of barbecue. Everybody else that's trying to get there is doing everything they can and motivates everyone to improve. And then we kind of came along in 2009 and had a great season that year. Our first season competing, as well as Joe. We came along at the same time. And then the force that was Swine Assassins came along, and after that, and just left everybody in their wake.
Yeah.
Chris and Scott are 2 of my best friends in the world. But at that time, everybody's just trying to figure out what are they doing and what can we do to do what they're doing and figure out how to get there. And so I think, the competitive drive that, all of us guys have that have seen success in the state, has helped push us, that's probably the biggest thing that's helped push us to, overall as, Iowa barbecue, quote unquote, to the status that we're at today. That'd be my most concise answer I could give you.
Yeah, Ryan Newstrom joining us here on the show. As you mentioned a couple minutes ago, Ryan, that you've been to all what is now 3 of the King of the Smoker contests. You've been to a lot of contests over the course of the years since 2009. Are you able to put into perspective how this particular event and contest differs from some of the other ones in relation to how you see it?
I think Sterling says it best that when he wanted to do this contest and contacted La Quinta Resort, which is, by the way, if you're not familiar with it, it's a 5-star resort owned by Waldorf Astoria Hotels, that he thought barbecue deserved white table service, and he wanted to provide a contest that provided white table service to the best teams in the country. And that in and of itself is what separates this contest from all the other contests out there. Just the amount of resources and effort that him and his team put in to making this an elite event. I mean, every single detail, just at the start of it, facilitating all the teams, getting their stuff in, loaning out their equipment. I mean, they loan out, tons of cookers to teams that aren't able to bring their own cookers, halfway across the country, or most of the way across the country, and then when you get there, they have a reception, and food's provided. It gets to the point where it's almost overwhelming, the amount of attention you're getting for this contest compared to any other contest that's out there. And then, and then he has the celebrities come out that he knows, that he's friends with, such as Bill Murray was there this year, one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yeah.
It gets to the point where it's like, you have a hard time thinking that it's real. It's so out there and so in another universe than what we're used to as barbecue competitors.
From the competitor's side, or perhaps a better way to term the question would be, you're a fierce competitor. You look around you, you see 23 other teams that have either made a mark because of how long of a run they've had, such as Smoking Triggers. You've seen some other guys kind of be at this event because of how good they have gotten so quickly and been able to be consistent over that short period of time. Do you find yourself a little starstruck or excited just to see who the competitors are going to be there each year, aside from the celebrities like Bill Murray or the singers and all this stuff?
Oh, yeah. And absolutely. I'm always starstruck, when I get around guys like Johnny Trigg or Jamie Geer, all these guys that I knew of, even before we started competing, heavy, that I looked up to. A lot of times I find it's hard for me to, because it's just kind of the person I am. I have a hard time, breaking the ice with people, especially if I have a great amount of respect for them right away. Guys like Donnie Bray, and the amount of success that they've had as of late, the caliber of competitors there is second to none. I mean, I think I do not envy Sterling's position when he's trying to pick out all 24 of them, because there's so many out there that are doing well, and but the guys that are there, it's truly a best of the best.
Ryan, let me ask you this question, and I've seen it in forums, and I'm getting it here in the chat room as well, specifically to the meat that you get from Sterling or the competition head over there. Are you concerned, or is it a point of concern going in, knowing that you're going to compete with stuff that you don't normally bring with you each and every weekend?
Absolutely. For me especially, I mean, I go to great lengths to procure the very best meat that I can for every contest that we cook. It doesn't matter if it's $3,500 payout or $50,000 payout. That's just kind of the way I do my process. And that starts Sunday afternoon and goes basically to the point where we arrive to the contest. I'm constantly looking for the best meat that I can, and that's a big part of our strategy. So in terms of, just being provided the meat for you, and you don't know what you're getting until you open the box, it is always the past 3 years has made me anxious. But it's also a good challenge for me that I enjoy and I embrace, that, I'm going to do the best I can with this meat that's given. And I go into it with that attitude, and enjoy the fact that I don't have to spend as many hours as I do on a normal week, finding meat, that it's just provided for me. It's at the same time, it's kind of relieving that I don't have to do all that, and don't have to spend multiple days worrying about it if I'm going to find that pork butt with the extra large money muscle on it or not this week, or the right size of chicken thighs that I'm looking for, or et cetera, et cetera. But they do, one thing about it too is that they do a great job of finding good meat for us for that contest. I mean, this year Snake River Farms provided all the briskets. We all got one nicely, at least ours was, like about a 16-pound brisket that was in good shape. And then all the pork products were from Compart Duroc, which is great pork. And then the two chickens that we got, I thought was pretty good looking chicken as well. So, why I do lose the control, at the same time, I know that Sterling and his crew are going to great lengths to provide all of us with as good as meat as we can get, comparative to what we normally cook.
He is Ryan Newstrom. He is the pitmaster of Big T's Q Crew and your co-grand champion at the 2014 King of the Smokers, which took place this past weekend. Ryan, always great to talk to you. Great to catch up, and let's do it again soon, man.
My pleasure, Greg. Thank you very much.
You got it. There he is, Ryan Newstrom. Thanks. Big T's Q Crew winner, co-winner of the King of the Smoker contest, again this past weekend over there in, I know it's the La Quinta Resort, but I forget what city that is. Is that Coachella? Is that how you say it? Well, that's Sterling when he's on next out. Ryan Newstrom. public service announcement, folks. All the barbecue brothers and sisters out there, from your show sponsor, Steve DeFranco of Stephen DeFranco Jewelers, a self-proclaimed barbecue junkie. He's not afraid to say it. Christmas is coming. That's right. What to get dear old dad? New clothes he won't wear? No. New shoes that'll cover with barbecue sauce? Forget about it. How about a new tie? How about no? Stephen DeFranco Jewelers has the perfect answer for Christmas, a new watch. And Steve has an incredible selection of watches. Perfect for dear old dad this holiday season. Bulova watches. Why spend a ton of money on a watch if you don't have to? These watches are stylish, affordable, starting under $200. Bulova watches come in traditional quartz styles and retro-style automatic versions, chronograph skeletons, and traditional styles fill out the Bulova line of timepieces. How about the Precisionist, the most accurate watch in the world? I own one. I bought it from Steve. Precisionist is just that. The exclusive movement of Bulova Precisionist breaks down the second-hand movements into 16 seconds per segment, giving that second hand a smooth moving appearance. How about the Cadillac of the Bulova line, the Accutron? Pinnacle of high-end design without breaking the bank, starting at about $600. The Accutron watch gives you that high-end style, quality, and lifestyle without breaking the bank. How about Citizens? You gadget junkie? Of course you are. You're a barbecue guy. You have 75 gadgets going on at your competition scene, in the backyard, what have you. Citizens is perfect for the gadget guy, and of course, if you're the cottage watch person, you got that Philip & Company watch made just over here west of Cleveland, starting at about $895. All of watches coming from Stephen DeFranco Jewelers come with the exclusive watch performance package that includes 1-year extension of the manufacturer's warranty, free engraving, free watch batteries for life, and free polishing cloth. Shipping at no charge as well. Go to StephenDeFranco.com. Check out what you like. Call them, 440-943-2700. That's 440-943-2700. And tell them you're a barbecue brother or sister and check out the price that he gives you. StephenDeFranco.com, 440-943-2700. The only person that I recommend that you buy jewelry from in person or online. He will take care of you. We are back with Tippy Canoe right after this. Stick around.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to Ryan Newstrom from Big T's Q Crew. Recapping the shared Grand Championship with Iowa Smoky D. That sounds weird to say, right? The shared Grand Championship, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We've heard from Ryan. How about somebody that has seen the pinnacle of King of the Smoker, taking third overall this year? Let's go ahead and race to the hotline. Welcome back, Pitmaster of the Tippy Canoe Barbecue Crew, Joe Beelan, joining us here on the show. Joe, how are you, buddy?
I'm awesome, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Joe. Man, it has been a minute. What is up with you?
Oh, it's been crazy. Been a crazy year. We've got so much going on that unfortunately barbecue kind of slid to the side for a while. We moved and bought a fake winery, as Sterling called it, this weekend. You'll have to ask him about that here in north central Iowa. So we've just had a lot going on. So like I said, we cooked 10 or 12 contests this summer. Took a little time off, and that hurt our consistency a touch. So it was really good to get back in the saddle and prove that we still got it.
Yeah, Joe Beelan joining me here on the show. TippyCanoeBBQ.com, the website, if you want to check it out. He'll while we are talking. So let me ask you, as someone who has seen the pinnacle of King of the Smokers, winning it yourself, and seeing it going back again this year, and seeing not only one team from Iowa, but two teams from Iowa taking Grand Championship honors. Are you surprised in a competition like this? And I know I asked Ryan this last segment, but as a competitor. Are you surprised to see a tie at something like this?
Yeah, I am, quite frankly. Anytime you see a tie, that's the second one I've seen in something over 125 contests in the last 4 or 5 years. And when we're taking it out 4 decimal points, you'd think we'd be able to determine a winner. So I was floored. I didn't see that coming. Sterling actually announced it before he started calling the top 5 in each category that we've got a tie for GC. So it was kind of interesting as we went through the awards to kind of build up. I think we were adding names to the list and then crossing them off as to who that tie might be. So.
You have championship go 7:05, 7/10, and then, as you said, it goes out, 3 more places after 7/10. Joe Beeland and Tippecanoe Barbecue, 7:04 and a half. Every other weekend and twice on Sunday, you slaughter the field and walk away with grand championship with that score. Can you believe that 7:04 is third place? That's crazy.
Yeah. I can't believe that. I figured it'd take 700 to win it. Was surprised last year. I think we won it with a 696 or something like that. But yeah, I would. If you told me going in, you're going to get a 704. Thank you very much all day long. And now I'm not going to argue with that.
And to be quite honest, you were only half a point ahead from being tied yourself.
Yes, exactly. It was amazingly close with fourth.
So let me ask you, Joe, as you had mentioned at the top, there's been a lot of other outside interests or distractions that have pulled you away from what has been the normal run of Tippecanoe Barbecue contests during the course of a season. So doing 10 or 12, how do you hone the skills and make sure that you are putting yourself in the best position at a competition like this to try and win it?
It's not easy. People say, I don't know how you cook that many contests when you do, 18 or 20 in a row. But in some weird way, it gets easier towards the end. You're going to autopilot, and cooking one contest every 3 or 4 weeks is just the opposite. It's the few days leading up to it. It's trying to remember, what did I run out of at the last contest? What do I need to restock? What didn't I order? And then when you get to a contest, I find myself, what am I supposed to do now? What's the next step again after I do that? Or it's 10:30. I know I'm supposed to do something, but boy, for the life of me, I can't remember what it is. So it's funny you get in that rhythm. So to prepare for this one, we hadn't cooked since the American Royal. And so I did a little research, a little kind of going back in some notes. I try to keep notes because my memory's not very good. So to kind of go back and look and say, what did we change? What did we change unintentionally? What am I doing different that I didn't know I had changed? Some of those kind of things, just to look back and try to hone those skills a little bit, and then talk to some of my barbecue friends. That's one of the things we teach at our classes that Ryan and I have taught together in the past is find somebody you can trust in the barbecue world that you can bounce those ideas off of or ask some of those questions. What am I missing? What's not going right? So I gotta thank Ryan and Scott from Pigskin and some of those folks that the phone's always on and I can call and ask for a little assistance.
When you look at last year and you look at this year and the smaller amount of contests that you did you act in the beginning? Did you actively keep that learning notebook that you always hear from a lot of the successful teams and go back to that? Or did you try and rely mostly on the experience that you've had over the last 2, 3, 4 years and hope that carries you to the best possible outcomes that you could on the weekends that you competed?
Yeah, great question. I usually try to, after something goes really well. So I did it this weekend. I did it after the American Royal and Sam's Club in 2011. Did it after we won 4 contests in a row in 2011 and 12. And just sit down and write down, what exactly did I do? And write down that process. So at times like this, when I'm a little unsure and things haven't gone as well, I'll take a peek back at some of those things and what was in there and try to pick out a point or two and then mix that in with something that's new, because I also don't want to give the impression that I'm I can cook what I cooked in 2011 today and have the same results, because you can't, in my opinion. It's a technique thing, or maybe a piece that you forgot about, or you go back to, but you have to constantly evolve and change, or you're going to get left behind. And I found that to be really, really true. We had a great year last year. We cooked a somewhat limited schedule. I think we cooked 18 or 20 contests a year ago, and ended up in the top 15 of the team of the year race, with I think 18 points contest. So again, I went back to those. What did I do? What did I change? What did I add to start hitting on that? So
this particular contest, there's a few things that are different than you would normally be able to do. For instance, no pit minders here, no pellet cookers here. You are supplied the meat. Does any of that cause consternation to your team at all, or because of the experience of having been there and also having won it, it's not as much of a thing that's on the brain there?
Yeah, it's something you think about, but it's something we've gotten used to. I think it was harder the first year than it was this year. When big shout out to my wife who let me sleep for a few hours throughout the night, and instead of the barbecue guru doing the work, she did, and got up and checked on the smoker for me, and made sure things were going all right. So that's a big one. And if we can, you lose a little sleep, but I cook on a heavily modified backwoods fat boy that I've kind of made my own, and that cooks pretty well with the guru or without it. So I got used to that part. I heard Ryan talk a little bit about the meat question. I think that's a really good question, because I think he nailed it. I won't repeat what he said, but it's a big element of being successful in this business is picking that meat, and now you don't get to pick it. And Sterling's number one rule, the king of smokers, no whining, and shut up and cook. So what's in the box is what you get, and that's fun. It makes it a level playing field. Everybody else has the same challenge. But it's definitely something you think about, and as you open up that box, you gotta hope and pray that you like what you see in there. But this, and Ryan mentioned it as well, the quality of meat that he's getting, thanks to the folks at Snake River Farms and Compart, there's high quality meat inside those coolers.
Joe Beelan joining us here on the show, pitmaster of Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew, talking about this past weekend, King of the Smoker, where he finished third overall. Joe, there was obviously some great entertainment there. Ryan mentioned that Bill Murray was carousing with you lovely folks out there as well. Is that like to me, I'm not starstruck by anybody, because I'm talking to guys like you each and every weekend. So, I'm a little jaded. I'm a little jaded, of course. But to be shouldering up with the likes of Bill Murray and seeing all these great musical acts and so forth, I mean, that has to be a treat in its own, aside from getting to participate in King of the Smokers.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that's just kind of amazing. You kind of think, is this really happening? And is barbecue bringing me to this beautiful 5-star resort? I stepped out of my room early Friday morning, crossed the parking lot, and almost got hit by a Bentley.
If that's the way to go, right?
Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen a Bentley in real life here in the Midwest ever, and here's one right parked outside my front door. So it's quite an experience, and it's one of those things that it is kind of hard to believe that I'm really there and experiencing that, and it adds to it. It makes it an experience and an event, not just a contest. And I can't thank Sterling and the folks at Ernie Ball and Big Papa Smokers and the folks at La Quinta Resort for the hospitality and everything that they do to make it all happen.
You saw all the teams that were going to be there taking part, going up against you. Did you have, aside from yourself, did you have a thought on who might come out on top when it was all said and done over the course of last weekend?
Yeah, I think as you looked at that list, what Darren and Sherry of Iowa Smoky D's have done, they came to the top of the list. I don't say that to insult anybody else. There are lots of great teams there, but the run they're on is just unprecedented and absolutely crazy. And for them to do it again this weekend and be co-grand champions of their third major of the year is just incredible, absolutely amazing. So he came out, and then Warren County Pork Choppers is probably another one. True Bud, as you look at who else on that list do you really need to kind of pay attention to. It's funny, right before awards, and nobody's going to believe me, but I told my wife as we were getting ready to go to awards, I think Ryan's got a shot at this thing. I could just I don't know what it was, but I kind of had that feeling, and sure enough, he was right in there.
You look up and down the list and you see, and I talked with Ryan about it a little bit last segment, is the fact that, man, there's some really great teams there that are all from Iowa. There's Pigskin, there's you, there's Ryan, there's Iowa Smoky D's, obviously, all Big Papa Smoker elite teams as well. Iowa continues to be a competition barbecue hotbed, and it's not a flash in the pan. As I said before, I remember saying it 3 or 4 years ago, especially when you were on that incredible run with all the wins in a row. It has not fallen off, and perhaps that's a testament to that region of the country saying it's not just Kansas City, it's not just Memphis. We're our own big deal, right?
Yep, absolutely. We want to compete, and you got to give Darren a lot of credit for starting that. That's I think I've said this before on your show. Part of the reason we went back to the drawing board, and part of the reason I think that we found some success, is we get tired of Darren kicking our ass every single weekend, and it's get better or go home, and kind of makes you focus and get better. And I think that drives some of this the success that you see in Iowa. Is the quality of teams, and there's good teams everywhere. I know some people probably get tired of hearing about Iowa, but that's where I'm from, so I get to talk about it. But
right.
There's good teams everywhere. Understand that, but when we compete every weekend against those folks, you have to raise your game.
Quick question here before I turn you loose tonight, Joe, and appreciate the time. 2015, how was that stacking up for Team Tippecanoe right now?
We're really looking forward to 2015. I think the things are gonna fall back a little closer to normal, and we'll be able to get right back out there and kind of get the season started early. We plan to get after it a little earlier this year and get a few contests under our belt in Missouri and South in March and April, and then we'll take a little break again in the spring, and then be back at it hard. And I hope to get back to that. I don't think I'll ever do 32 again, but get back in that 15 to 20 range. Going forward next year. So looking forward to it. Joe
Beeland is the pitmaster of Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew, finishing 3rd overall this past weekend at King of the Smoker. Joe, always appreciate the time, man. Let's do it again soon.
You bet. Sounds great, Greg. Thank you.
All right, there he is, Joe Beeland, everybody. Tippecanoe. Sorry, Ryan, I forgot to ask him about the fake winery. Being a wine snob myself, I don't want to talk about fake wine. I want a fine Merlot. I want to know that I have drank so much wine in the course of an evening. If I blew blood alcohol content, it would register Merlot. That's right. That's right. TippecanoeBBQ.com is the website if you want to check out Joe. And that will conclude the first hour recap of King of the Smoker, Sterling Ball in the second hour. Let me talk to you for a few minutes about the longest-running sponsor of the show, located in Warminster, Pennsylvania, the Barbecue Guru. Gang, if you've been thinking about automatic temperature control devices for your cooker, stop here, especially for a gift, Christmas, all that stuff. This is the company that started it all. They are the creators of this technology. Why are you going to buy something from anybody else? I don't know. Oh, I love Don G. I'm a wine snob. I said, I've tried all the wine. Right? I think I've drank all the wine. If you're not familiar with how these little beauties work, I'm not going to get into the minute detail, but imagine a product that allows you to set your pit temperature, and one set keeps it running at that set temperature all the way through the cook. Sounds too good to be true. It's not. This is real life. You can take advantage of this technology today. Maybe you're a busy working professional like me, or perhaps you're constantly on the run with kids, doing errands. Quite frankly, you just don't have that time to sit around and tend pit temperatures. I get it. The Guru allows you to throw on a pork butt, a brisket, a couple slabs of ribs. You're off to do whatever it is you need to get done, and the Guru maintains that pit temperature you set it at. Currently, a number of different models to choose from. Two of the most popular, the CyberQ Wi-Fi, and all the way on the other end, the Party Q, $149, completely refaced earlier in the year. Goes on most cookers. $10 extra for the ceramic styles, folks. $139 or $159. Still a deal. Runs on AA batteries, can go from cooker to cooker. You have the bullet-style cookers or the kettles, whatever. You're ready to go. In the market for a cooker, by the way, Onyx Oven, got to check it out. Winning in the competition circuit and in backyards all over the country. Fully insulated, holds a ton of meat. Accommodates half and full pans for food service. Working seamlessly, of course, with any Barbecue Guru temperature control device. Do yourself a favor. Head on over to the website, thebbqguru.com. Check out their products. And if you have any questions about what to order, call them directly. Don't be shy. 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. They will make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. 800-288-GURU. Or visit thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru continues to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. All right, we will wrap up the first hour and head to the second. You are listening and watching the Barbecue Central show with no website right now. Yeah, you got to register that. Yo, you know you got to register that shit. I didn't know it. Now I know it. Thank you, John Dawson. I would love it. We're back right after this. Stick around.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
We are back. For those that are interested, finishing first, or in the horse racing industry, 1A and 1B, Iowa Smoky D's and Big T's Q Crew, 705.7-032. As we just found out, Joe Beelan finishing third, Tippecanoe, 704.5372. Blazin' BBQ fourth, just off the other time mark, 704.03. So basically, 1, 2, 3, 4. The top 4 people could have pretty much went to any other contest over the course of the weekend and walked away head and shoulders above everybody else. Not a king of the smoke. Simply Marvelous, 696.5. Warren County Pork Choppers, 696. Almost even. Shake and Bake Barbecue 7th. Three Eyes Barbecue 8th. Little Pigtown 9th. And Tim Grant and the folks over at True Bud Barbecue 10th place overall. For those that love to know who finished last, 50 points almost out of the race. Sweet Swine Oh My, 24th. Look, it's tough to go up and down that list knowing everybody's a heavy hitter and seeing who ends up taking last straw. I mean, rarely happens, right? Sweet Swine of Mine, 24th. QOw, 23rd. I don't remember the last time QOw finished second to last, like maybe ever. Yeah. The Wizard of Waz, typically on the opposite end of that list. Perhaps going to show the quality and caliber of team at the La Quinta Resort at the King of the Smoker. That's right. Where were we at? All right, I got to remember to renew my website because it's going to be tough to get that, whatchamacallit. This podcast is going to be troubled. So we'll have to make sure that the due diligence is being done. All right, we are going to reload for the second hour. In that second hour, Sterling Ball, I may or may not have a take on the loathsome Cleveland Browns and other items. Thanks again to Joe Beeland, Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew Pitmaster, Ryan Newstrom, Big T's Q Crew Pitmaster. co-grand champ at King of the Smoker, for taking time to join me for the first hour. If you missed the first hour, podcast will be available at some point once everything gets reconfirmed. You, my friends, are listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central networks, watching video feeds on OutdoorCookingChannel.com, and watching it on your IP television, Roku. If you have Roku and you haven't found Outdoor Cooking Channel, go to the App Store, find Outdoor Cooking Channel, download the app on Roku, and then you can have archives of every show on there, plus you have access to the live stream. That is the first option once you download OutdoorCookingChannel.com on your Roku or other associated IP television, if it has it on there, and you can watch this show, which is one of 2 live shows each and every week. Whiskey Bent Barbecue in the Pit precedes this one, 7 to 9. You get 4 hours of live barbecue television on Roku every Tuesday. You're welcome. We'll be back right after this. Stick around.
This is Jim Minion from Two Loose Screws. I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds.
You have top men working on it right now. Ooh, top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. You have found and are enjoying the Barbecue Central show. If you missed the first hour, shame on you. You can get it later. We talk about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling here on the show. We broadcast live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you here on the show. If you want to jump in tonight, 216-220-0966. And I wonder, I wonder now, because of the whole website issue, if my email even works. Well, let me see. Let me send myself an email. Notice Google refund. Notice a possible Google Fun replay is available. That sounds like a phishing attempt if I've ever heard it. Order is ready. I'm going to send myself an email here. Greg at the... All right. And we go to test. Send it. I bet I don't get it. Oh, wait a second. I still get email. Okay, good news. Still up and running, I guess, for the most part. If you want to jump in on email, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com, or you can get me on the telephone, 216-220-0966. Still to come on the show tonight in about 12, 13 minutes from now, a pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers, a captain of industry, the creator of the King of the Smokers contest, Sterling Ball, will be joining us, so stay tuned for that. On the backside of Sterling Ball's interview, we, because it is the holiday season, so whoop-de-doo and dickory-dock, we'll be giving away a prize pack that is yet to be determined, but trust me, if I'm giving away anything here on this show, you know it's going to be absolutely fantastic. You will enjoy it for years to come. All right, quick poll question. Christmas is, first of all, Happy Hanukkah to all of the Barbecue Centralite Jewish folks out there. Happy Hanukkah, the start of Happy Hanukkah tonight. 8 crazy nights, as Adam Sandler says. So happy Hanukkah. We also have Christmas coming up in a little bit over a week. So Christmas dinner. What do you eat for Christmas dinner? Is it A, turkey again? I've done that. B, something that's not anything like that. Or C, something that I will be attempting to the tune of 12 pounds of succulent. Is anybody cooking prime rib? I am. I have my seasonings all ready to go. I have it on order from the butcher who was taking off the bone, tying it back on after the fact, so I can have flavor to savor. My mom told me, my mom, Connie's Recipe Corner Star, Connie Rampy, she was refreshing me. To me, prime rib is like turkey. It's something that I enjoy immensely when I'm eating it. But, if I eat it once or twice over the course of the year, much like a turkey, that's a lot. Matthew is getting prime rib for New Year's. All right, I see that. Bob Parker, 2 ducks and a 25-pound piglet. Oh, my. Look at you, Bob Parker, getting it on. So I get a little apprehensive because, look, let me pull up my calculator here. $12.99 a pound. I'm in $160 for prime rib. So, as much as people don't want to screw up the Thanksgiving turkey, I definitely don't want to be screwing up the 160-pound prime rib.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I don't. I'd much rather screw up the $30 turkey right now. For the love of Mike. Angela Iverson, are you questioning or are you eating soup for Christmas dinner? Don G eating turkey and lasagna. Sylvie Curry is eating smoked turkey again, beef back ribs, and a ham. Holy, how many people are you having over, Sylvie? And perhaps am I allowed to come in and take part? Wow. I love beef back ribs, man. That's another thing I don't do nearly enough. A couple times a year, that's it. I got to get those. Where do they have them at? BJ's Wholesale Club, the beef chuck short ribs, but they're the big ass Bronto ribs. Man, those things are badass. Love those. All right. For the folks that have been wondering if I am going to mention the fact that maybe a month ago, your humble host sat here and had the testicular fortitude to verbalize the fact that his Cleveland Browns were sitting atop the AFC North, things that had not seen the same fruition come to fact until 1994. We suck again.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Oh.
We suck again.
Yeah. After what perhaps was 4 weeks of inferior quarterback play from hometown hero Brian Hoyer, the decision was made with 3 games left in this now wreck of a season to put in Johnny Football. If you don't know who that is, he was the Texas A&M quarterback last year, Johnny Manziel. And this perhaps was going to be the start of a change. And in fact, it was the start of a change. The change, of course, was not scoring.
Get that big stuff out of here.
We laid it on the Cincinnati Bengals a month ago. They turned around and slapped us 30-0. Johnny Manziel throwing a multitude of bad passes, resulting in interceptions. And here's the bottom line for all of the Cleveland Browns fans listening out there, especially in podcast fashion, because I doubt any live listener is a Cleveland fan. It's tough to be a Cleveland fan. Trust me, I know. It's been going on for years, and it's not working very well for me. Johnny Manziel is not the problem with the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are the problem with the Cleveland Browns, and they have been exposed as the fraud that they are. Crappy football team at best. Again. Crappy football team at best again. 7-7, or whatever we are right now, with 2 games less. I'm getting it out, Angela. We are a crappy football team at best. And to throw a undersized running quarterback in to think that this was going to provide the energy and spark the Cleveland Browns that is needed to get us to close out the season with 3 wins in a row, unfortunately died out there in the middle of 60% of the country. I can't believe that national television, as soon as the jump was made to Johnny Manziel, the Browns went from like 30% of the company, or being shown to 30% of the country, to 60% of the country. Johnny Manziel playing 0 games, starting 0 games, before this past weekend, was shown to 60% of the country. Wow, what an embarrassment for 60%. Well, for 1% of the country, that being Cleveland, what a horrific embarrassment. Laughing stock. Ugh. Dennis Daniel, when you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have none 100% correct. You got an average quarterback who can't throw anything over intermediate and is inaccurate, and then you have a rookie that played like a horrific rookie. What can I tell you? Both your QBs are not the Sanchez who sucks as well. Believe me, at this point, I would take Mark Sanchez absolutely 100%. I would. Sanchez. That's funny. It's never time to find a new team. It's just time to turn hope to 2015, where that will be the year the Browns go to the Super Bowl. Look, if you don't know, Big Papa Smokers is the one-stop shop for anyone interested in barbecue, featuring a comprehensive selection of all-American-made grills, spices, sauces, accessories, even a kit that gives you everything you need to make world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Papa Smokers has made a name for itself by making an award-winning line of championship rubs. Their rubs have won almost every major competition barbecue event, including the 2012 and 13 World Series of Barbecue in Kansas City, the 2012 and 14 Jack Daniels Invitational, 2013 Kingsford Invitational, 2014 Houston Livestock and Rodeo. Many more to come. BPS also banded together with fellow California-based rub company Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what has now become known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these 2 California-based rub makers have cornered the market on a competitive barbecue and begun to redefine the flavor profile that competitive cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. They've even created 2 of their unique and owned competitions. Ever heard of King of the Smokers? Maybe you just tuned in, and the answer is no. That brings the best of the best in barbecue in a head-to-head, back-to-basics competition. King of the Smokers unique in the fact that will not use any electric devices, such as pellet cookers or pit miners. We talked about that. Contestants just allowed to use charcoal wood in their wits and win one of the most high-stakes barbecue competitions around, Iowa Smoky D's and Big T's Q Crew. Other competition BPS has started, known as the Guinea Pig, cost-controlled competition that helps bring newcomers to the world of competitive barbecue. Also features prize distribution all the way down to 10th place in each category. That helps provide incentive for new teams to keep coming back to the world of barbecue. On top of all that, Big Papa has created a unique brand ambassador program called the BPS Elite Team, featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country working together to promote camaraderie, competition barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind, Big Papa Smokers has been able to do all of this within only 4 years of being in business, turning quickly into 5 years. Here's the bottom line. They're turning the competition barbecue world on its head. They're creating their own unique competitions. They're becoming a staple of a nationwide restaurant chain and benefiting children's charities across the United States. Just the beginning. For Big Papa Smokers, we'll probably get some more insight on what BPS has in store for the world. Coming up in the next segment, which we'll see Sterling Ball. BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BigPapaSmokers.com, the website. And you stay tuned for Sterling Ball, and we'll see you here in just a few seconds. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. My next guest, a captain of industry, a successful pitmaster, rub and spice manufacturer, barbecue equipment retailer, and, of course, partner to this show, creator of the contest that we have been talking about all night tonight. Let's go ahead and welcome back the pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers, Sterling Ball, joining me here on the show. Sterling, how are you, my friend?
I'm fine. How you doing, Greg?
I'm famously doing well, Sterling, and I appreciate you asking, and most importantly, appreciate you making time for the show tonight. We've gotten some really good first-hand accounts from a co-champion in Ryan Newstrom of Big T's Q Crew, and a former champion and third-place overall contestant, Joe Beelan from Tippecanoe Crew. Look, it doesn't take a genius, Sterling, to realize that first place and second place, well, 1A and 1B and third place, all from the great competition hotbed state of Iowa. What is going on in Iowa, Sterling?
Well, I think it might be their rubs.
That you're damn right. And Iowa should be lucky.
Listen, I think that Ryan said it best. I think that Darren set a bar pretty high, and these young guys came along, and then for a while the young guys knocked them off. Darren got fired up. I mean, you were mentioning earlier, I was listening while I was eating, and talking about this year. It's really, you got to talk about last year, too. Last year, Darren and Sherry won the Kingsford and the Royal Open. And in the last 2 years, they've won 23 GCs. And pretty much all of the majors. So I think it's a spectacular run. At the King of the Smokers, we have 3 of the mornings, except for the comp, a little board meeting breakfast that's very informal, and there's no published invite to it. But it seems to cost me a ton every year. But Sunday, Johnny Triggs telling Darren, well, I had a run like that. It was 7 years. So, get ready for a 10. And Darren said, thanks. I got 5 years, I guess. So it was pretty funny. Johnny, thanks for the 5 years. But really, I got to tip my hat to Darren and Sherry, because I do believe they're phenomenal ambassadors, not, for the game, sport, whatever, of barbecue. And I couldn't be happier to have them, in our fold also.
Sterling, do you quantify or qualify or however you want to term it, as competition barbecue as a sport?
No.
Why
had
not?
Darren on a sports talk radio show in the desert, and it was pretty funny. He said he could beat me in a sprint, and I think that'd be hysterical watching it happen.
So you don't think that competition...
We might have a punt, pass, and kick next year, King of the Smokers.
You don't think competition barbecue qualifies as a sport?
No.
Why not? If golf is a sport and bowling is a sport and archery is a sport, why can't competition barbecue be qualified as a sport?
Well, more importantly, Greg, how come you didn't talk to Ryan about golf?
Why didn't I? Golf isn't a sport.
Well,
come on.
He shows up with matching orange pants that match his Jambo pit. He looks like he came straight off the Dunhill links, okay? Justin looks like one of those guys that's going to rob you blind, that Muni player that's at the scratch. And then he hits it so far, it's crazy. And then here comes old gimpy me. But I did school them.
Yeah, but in the end, who's the better golfer?
So I don't know. I think I fooled them that day.
I know a lot of guys that can go 275 plus. And guess what? That's the only club they got in the bag. If the green isn't there at 275, they're screwed. You got to have other aspects of the game than going big, right? Unless you're in porn.
Well, they're both good golfers, but it really is funny because the King of the Smokers starts on Thursday, and most people show up on Tuesday, and so it's a 6-day. It reminds me of the old rock festivals almost. I mean, I'm getting no sleep, and usually I never sleep anyway, but it's crazy. I mean, it goes until Sunday about noon. You know, there's one thing I want to talk about King of the Smokers, and I'm doing this just in case you don't ask.
Go ahead.
The La Quinta Resort is unbelievable. Compart, Snake River, BJ's Brew House, just incredible. But the Big Papa Redcoats, the staff that work there, I just don't get it. James and Jody and Jesse leading it. They basically work 22 hours a day. It's just amazing. And then the teams, there's chemistry involved in the selection. Okay, because I get some people that send me drunk texts and drunk emails about how they've beaten everybody on earth. But
that's it, right?
How
are you coming up, or what is a criteria, or is there any criteria on how a team gets that coveted invite?
Well, it's not an elite team contest. There's certain elite teams that didn't make it this year.
Yes.
It's not a KCBS top 24. It's a balanced contest, but it also represents. We have Rub from FBA, we have Jamie from Texas, we have Ronnie and Michelle Wade from Texas. I mean, they have 132 GCs, Ronnie and Michelle, and that's just counting Ronnie's, not Michelle's. By the way, Ronnie got a 17944 in both ribs and pork, and didn't win. He was one appearance to score away from both his 180s. There's a batting average team, which last year was Pods, Moonswiners. This year, it was Travis Clark, who had a crazy good year. So I think we had 8 out of 12 with the top 10, but then I get the defending champ comes. I get 2 wild card picks. And it's a very difficult process. The first, 20 are super easy. The last 4 are agonizing. And I do have some help, but the help doesn't want me. It's a committee that they want to stay secret, but there are some guys out there competing that help me out a little bit because I don't get to a lot of the areas. I'm out the West Coast.
There's 24 teams. Obviously, they're all very more than qualified to be there. When you're making out the list and you look at the finalized list, you're the guy that's putting it together, but on the competition side of things, did you think that any one team might have, in your mind, think that would have come out on top this past weekend, or did you think that Darren had the best shot at working it this year?
Well, we had a little Calcutta, not a Calcutta because those are illegal, but we had a little draft in Pigskins booth where this time you got to keep your own team and you got to pick another team and then combine the points.
Yeah.
And of course, Darren, they pull the numbers out of the hat. What number do you think Darren draws?
15th.
First.
Of course.
Okay. We all go, okay, this is his weekend, and he picks Pigskin as his first pick. So I thought that Darren was the favorite. I think Pigskin was right there. I think there's a lot of you, certainly. I mean, anybody there can win, but Donnie Bray. The first 180 in King of Smokers, 3 years. Donnie got it in chicken. There's tons of them from, Smoke Be Silly, 1-2 Barbecue. Even a little pig town. I tasted a lot of food there, and it was all good.
I went out on a limb and said that my bone crusher in crime, Scott Nelson, was going to show up and surprise everybody. Now, well, not surprise everybody, but I thought for some reason this was setting up for him. and that he was going to walk away grand champion, King of the Smoker. Didn't have a terrible finish. Didn't probably have the one that he was hoping for. But
his ribs were a little over, and I walked by. I could see it when he pulled them out. It's really funny. We stay away as much as we can, and we don't talk to him. But we're there, and you're kind of looking. I mean, they had tents with sides, and only one team put up a side. Okay, it was really funny, and it was tight quarters this year. It was really, really cool that way. I mean, guys weren't hiding; they were out in the open with what they did, and that was fun. But also, we keep the public out until 1:30. They're not allowed in, so the cooks really get to cook. But then after 1:30, these cooks engage, and boy, did they! I mean, Donnie Bray was supposed to give a 20-minute talk about what he does, and he talked for an hour. And this, for $20 entry fee.
What kind of a crowd turnout did you get, and was it better than expectation?
Well, you have to realize one of the things is the resort doesn't want it too big because they don't have the parking. And as it was, they had to keep extra security. I think we had about 500 people there, and that was as much as the resort ever wants.
Do you have an idea of where of those 500 people, are they real niche barbecue lovers? Are they more on the periphery? Like, where's the median there?
That's a really good question.
Yep.
Because I see some of the teams that are out there competing. Sylvia's on the board right there. Sylvia was there. Some of the Twisted Brisket people. I saw some teams, but it's really funny. By the third year, of course, we had a contest in Vegas going to get up against it, which I hated to have happen, but the resort moved our date. A, because I wanted to try and defend my championship there, but B, it took a lot of the guys that I'm sure would have shown up. But it's a lot of curious people. It's some pitmasters. It was more pitmasters earlier on. Now it's more people just really interested in barbecue. And the OBR guys serve a lot of great food there, too.
Aside from putting and creating King of the Smokers and the Guinea Pig contest, you're obviously a very well-accomplished pitmaster. So I'm wondering, as far as competitive juices are concerned, when things start to go down and the pits fire up and everything starts to get underway on the competition side of things, do you ever wish that you would be able to fire up a cooker and go against everybody as well, Sterling?
Does Flipper have a blowhole?
The last time I checked, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
So why not? This is your contest. Why not section off a pit and be able to go after?
Well, because A, I'm a little busy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hogwash.
There's still lots of stuff going on. I mean, I had Rodney Crowell, was a multiple Grammy winner, came. I mean, I got to talk about the people that are friends that happen to be celebrities. Because in my guitar business life, I met a lot of them I don't like. Guys like Rodney Crowell, he's working on the Hank Williams movie. He came in from Shreveport. He left at 3:30 in the morning to make it back to the set. Bill Murray's doing the Jungle Book in New Orleans. Promised me he'd be there. Shows up at 3:30 and charters a jet at midnight to get back on set in the morning because he gave his word. So, I mean, that's just cool. And Bill makes a donation, too, to the Casey Lee Ball Foundation, which we were able to give. This was a big year for us. We gave $1.35 million to UCLA. We raised over $20,000 for Operation Barbecue Relief, and the elite team distributed $31,000 in pediatric charity money. So I don't think there's ever going to be a night in barbecue where more money is given to help more kids.
It's the third year. Well, just finished the third year, and it's continuing to get rave reviews. Perhaps even more rave reviews year after year. This being probably the most successful in a lot of different areas, I guess. How do you see it growing? Like, now that you've created it, it's been established and talked about by so many pitmasters out there as being something that either they've taken part in and they love it and this is why, or I can't wait to hopefully do something to get out there. Where do you see the event in 4 years or 5 years from now?
Well, I'd like to keep it small. I think it's easy to deliver it's not easy to deliver the kind of service actually, and I can't imagine trying to deliver it. Listen, you never have even quarter full trash can. You have ice every time you want it. You have beeper numbers. We have 5 people within here. I mean, there's nothing that the cook, I mean, Rod needed his table raised. It was raised right away because we had the same tables for everybody. So, I mean, I think the best way is to keep it small. I think it's to keep that little pucker factor that nobody wants to be last place. And, I think that's great. I mean, I got to thank, by the way, Mark Lambert and all the Sweet Swine of Mine guys cooked an unbelievable hog. Old Hickory guys were there. It was just on Friday night, and I cooked 7 Wagyu prime ribs that Snake River gave us. So, I always cook Friday night for the teams along with somebody in the last 2 years, been Mark. I think it's important I cook for the teams. And I think the teams enjoy it, actually. It ends up a pretty good meal between the resort and Mark and then whatever I happen to do.
In regards to the competition this year, Sterling, are you surprised that in the end there was a tie between 2 teams, Iowa Smoky D's and Big T's Q Crew?
Yeah, you have to understand, I give a pep talk to the judges, explain what happens, and then I'm never in the judging tent again. I will not go in the judging tent, and I don't want to know who won. I also have, in addition to Kelly and Kathleen McIntosh, I think the best reps in the business, I actually have Deloitte, a senior tax partner from Deloitte, audit the results too, and then my CFO writes the checks, and that's how I know who wins. I open the check. That each category thing, and Jesse calls and says, we have a little problem here. And I said, what? She goes, it's in scoring. I said, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But what happened? I mean, I don't know who. She goes, well, we have a tie. And we gave them the option of splitting the money, but we didn't give them the option of deciding who the grand champion was. Technically, even though there was a tie, there's we finally got explained how they determine a tie, and that's for another show, but Darren actually won the computer-generated tiebreaker. But they agreed to split it as long as I have them, as long as I print the gold major champion winning elite sweatshirts for them. So they both have code grand champion sweatshirts, and then they agreed to split the money. By the way, Darren donated all his money back. Darren and Sherry.
All the winnings back.
$10,500.
Wow.
To the Cape Lee Ball Foundation.
Nice.
They matched the $11,000 they won for juvenile diabetes through the elite team. They matched that.
Are you surprised? It's not a trick question, and I'm not trying to get you to say that they're great people. But look, I mean, $11,000 is nothing to sniff at. There's probably a very few amount of competitions that take place during the course of a competition season where a grand champion can come out winning with $11,000. Usually a purse is overall, $2,500 or $5,000 or something very, very less. Are you surprised that this money is given back to you or not really?
Oh, I'm devastated. I'm honored and blown away. No, I don't. And the other thing I want to make sure is that I don't want people. I mean, Scott Nelson did it last year, and so did Darren. Scott came in second. I said, I don't want people to feel like they have to do that. Look, I have a hard time letting somebody pick up a check. So that's a really it's stunning. I mean, to me and my family, we don't expect it. We don't want somebody to say, oh, you got a good eating smokers, but if you want to get invited back, you got to donate your money back. I just don't. I mean, this was it's just an immense gesture on behalf of them, and it'll always be that to me.
You don't worry that inadvertently there's a precedent being set where there is a little pressure on that at all?
I don't think so. I don't want it to be, and if there is, I'll address it. I'm fairly direct. So
I've noticed.
No, but I mean, look, I think it's really cool. I don't think that they do that to say, look at me or anything. I think they have huge hearts. I think they do things throughout the year. I think Darren and Sherry, I mean, this is like a this show's like a love fest for him. It's almost like somebody sent us one of Darren's medical scans. It's bad. I mean, no, but they just behaved fabulously. I mean, they just carry themselves well. They're helpful to everyone. It's back to that. Just everything Ryan Tippy said.
Sterling, were you surprised at all where some teams finished?
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like it. Last year Jamie came in last, and he was really sad. And he went on to win Houston Livestock. He went on to get, I think, a 180 at the Royal, and I think he won a category at the Jack. And really, it got him kind of shook up and maybe motivated. Yeah, I don't like that. There's, let me tell you something. There is a last place.
Yeah.
And there's, not every kid plays shortstop. And in this, it's bring your best, the best against them. I think the interesting thing is that we never had a 700 before, and we had 4 of them. I think it's interesting we never had a 180, and we had one. And I truly believe that the food in the past was every bit as good.
You don't allow the pit minders, you don't allow the pellet cookers, and you're providing the meat. I asked Joe, I asked Ryan, is there any trepidation, even though they've been there previous times? Hell, Joe's won it before in the past. Is there any trepidation about somebody else giving you the meat that you're going to be cooking with when on every other weekend they're going through painstaking processes of procuring their own? Do you hear any of that during the course of the weekend about people worrying what they're going to be cooking because they're not the ones picking it?
David Buska said he's heard from teams who were there that meat wasn't that good, and David and I have been going back and forth. We get along great, but I teased him last time I was on the show, but I doubt whether that's a plural thing, okay? I don't really believe that teams feel that way because I've seen the meat, okay? You have Snake River Farm where they hand-picked, the briskets. They were within 1.2 pounds of each other, okay? Compart gave us their very finest competition code. Let me tell you, even the upper echelon, it's very interesting. It's never their fault, okay? It's a judge or the meat. Very rarely do you hear somebody say, you know what, I really sucked today, But none of those guys that came to the Smokers do that. But, it's not like we're giving them bad meat. The idea is level playing field. What I should really tell everybody is, here's the rules. You got to cook like Johnny Trigg, but I'm giving you the meat. Because this was like a normal contest for Johnny.
Right.
He shows up with his 2 tables and a easy up and his Jambo and nothing. He doesn't need power. So really, we cook Trigg style.
Let me ask you something. Last question here before I let you go, and appreciate the time tonight, Sterling. In regards to Johnny Trigg, you can probably, if you're a history buff or you're a fan of competition barbecue, you can go through and name the people that have helped progress this sport into where it is today. But perhaps none more than Johnny Trigg. You've seen him on television. He's gotten whatever monicum of fame he has been able to derive off of the television shows. But, he's been there really since the beginning and has won a tremendous amount and has won a tremendous amount of high-end competitions and low-end competitions and everything in between. And here he sits today still competing and doing it, obviously, because there's a passion. What do you find most appealing, about a character like Johnny Trigg?
Number one, I love Johnny Trigg. I consider Johnny Trigg a dear friend. Johnny Trigg took Big Papa Smokers under his arm. We were on Pitmasters together. He adopted us from there. Johnny Trigg is an American treasure. I keep a John Lane coffee cup in my trailer for Johnny Trigg. When we meet up on the competition trail, Johnny Trigg, John Lane, Johnny Trigg, Johnny Cash. Johnny Trigg's larger than life. Johnny Trigg's got a huge heart. Johnny Trigg can come to any contest I'm having at any time because at 76 years old, he works the room as well as anyone I've ever seen in any field. How's that?
Good enough for me. Sterling Ball is the pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers. Before I let you go, Sterling, anything that you're up to here at the close of the year or right at the turn of the new year that you'd like to tell us about?
Gosh, no, you know what? we're recovering from the King of Smokers. We're getting ready for the Guinea Pig, and we've got a huge music show. I'm designing 2 new guitars. I mean, there's never a dull moment. Okay, my record was just released. I had my first CD, Never a Dull Moment, and it's kind of interesting at 59 to release your first CD, but it's out there, so that's kind of fun. Look, I'm loving the barbecue business. I'm loving the barbecue people. I mean, Bill Murray said these are such nice people. Rodney Crowell and Bill Murray both said, I just spent a day of good. Everybody was good, and everybody was doing good things. So I think that's pretty cool.
Only because he's literally one of my favorite actors ever. How do you meet and get to be buddies with Bill Murray?
That's a great story, and we have 6 pages in his book, Cinderella Story. When my son, and I know you want to get rid of me, but here.
No, I mean, I'm asking you the question because I love Bill Murray.
Okay, you got to realize I wrote him a letter 21 years ago and told him about a golf tournament that I was having to benefit my 6th son, who was at the time 5 years old and had died twice. They brought back. And I told him that Eddie Van Halen was the honorary host, and that Van Halen was playing the pre-party. This is 1991, okay, 92. And that it was going to be at the Hard Rock Cafe, hosted by Peter Morton, who at the time owned the Hard Rock Cafe. And Bill calls me, and it's 11 days after I've given a kidney to my son. And he's saying, so you're going to have free sushi, you're going to have Van Halen. He goes, this is too good to be true, buddy. He goes, what's in it for you? And I finally had enough of him. I said, listen, Bill, the only thing that's, other than giving my right kidney to my son 11 days ago, absolutely friggin' nothing. And he said, oh my God, I'll be there. And he was there, and we kind of hit it off, and he came the next year. And the great thing about celebrity golf tournaments is that the first thing when you ask other agents who you have, I was able to say I had Bill Murray. So for 10 years, I ran a tournament where it was Jack Nicholson, Bill Murray, Wayne Gretzky, George Clooney, all those guys. And we raised a ton of money for UCLA and pediatric kidney research. But Billy and I, we stayed friends. My wife redesigned one of his houses. I shared a condo with him on a golf course. And I thought, this is great. He lives in New York. At the Millennium, he calls me and goes, I'm in the condo and I'm going to move here with 3 kids. So he basically screwed me out of that. Well, not really. So anyway, we just became, for Bill's a real guy. Okay? The most annoying thing is to be out in public with him because people are just relentless with the cell phone. The cell phone, man, you should try and walk a block in a city with a celebrity with cell phones now.
No way.
It's just like, I'm surprised more of these guys don't kill themselves.
Well,
Bill Murray's by the way, Bill Murray's given our charity that we've raised about $8 million. Bill Murray's given us at least $500,000.
Wow.
Over the years.
Outrageous. I mean,
but when he plays Pebble Beach, he pays his entry fee. When he pays Pebble Beach, any money he wins, he gets back. Bill's one of the greats. He's a man of the people.
Sterling, appreciate you sharing the story. Appreciate you going a little overtime here with me and sharing the Bill Murray story and recapping King of the Smokers. Sounds like yet another raging success, and all eyes are set to the end of the year next year for version 4 of King of the Smokers. This is Sterling Ball.
Greg, one last thing.
Go.
I really should just pull the plug on it now. I can't top it, but I'm just going to do it. What do I do? I'm sitting there, Bill Murray's sitting there getting explained to Jambo. I can't. I don't know what I could do. All I can do is try and entertain people and give them a good time and get some more attention on competition barbecue and raise money for kids.
I'm sure everything will be fine just next year, no problem. Sterling Ball, the pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers, BigPapaSmokers.com. Sterling, as always, and let me say...
I'll have you next year, Greg, instead of Bill.
You want this thing to go to the next universe? Okay, man, you tell me.
I just was thinking, how do you top Bill Murray? And Rempe came up.
Yes, right. All right, I'll take the compliment.
Hey, you're in next year. You're coming.
I'm ready if you are. Absolutely, with 100% assurity. I will be there should you have me.
All right, take the rest of the night off, Greg.
All right. Thanks for the support, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you, bud.
There he is, Sterling Ball, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, I don't even compete, and I got an invite. Suck it, bitches. Probably going to want me to actually go on and be entertaining and stuff like that, but you know, the difference between being entertaining in front of a crowd and being entertaining in front of a camera, a little different. We'll try and win something after this read, but first let me talk to you about Cook Shack. That's right, happy holidays from Cook Shack. Need an idea for a great gift because time is pressing. For someone special in your life, how about a Cook Shack smoker or pellet grill? Make them a barbecue genius with an easy-to-use smoker or pellet grill. Now until December 17th, you can save 10% off the list price of any Cook Shack residential electric smoker, Fast Eddies by Cook Shack FEC 100 pellet-fired smoker, or pellet grills models PG 500 or 1000. Savings of up to $419. Smokette, the Smokette Elite, the Super Smoker Elite, and the AmeriQ are the electric smokers that make it easy to add real wood smoke to your foods. They're inexpensive to operate, energy efficient. Of course, the PG 1000 and 500 pellet grills feature 4-zone cooking and pellet broil technology. They are solidly built with commercial-grade quality. The FEC 100 is the choice of many championship barbecue teams and is guaranteed to hold enough barbecue for all your friends and family. All Cook Shack products come with a no-risk, money-back guarantee for 30 days. What? 30 days. To order online, use the promo code HOHOHO14. That's HOHOHO14 when you check out at cookshack.com or call Cook Shack toll-free at 800-423-0698 and tell their friendly sales staff you want the HOHOHO14 deal you heard about here on this show, the Barbecue Central Show, with a Cook Shack smoker or pellet grill. You can celebrate barbecue every day, even twice on Sunday and Christmas. Hurry, because this deal ends Wednesday. That's tomorrow, December 17th. For all the folks at Cook Shack, I want to tell you happy holidays from them. Again, the promo code HOHOHO14. Call them toll-free, 800-423-0698, or visit cookshack.com. That's cookshack.com, and thank you for their support. All right. Let's see what we can't give away before I have to go renew my website here at the top of the hour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. 216-220-0966. Call. We'll play Winery or Rehab, and we'll get you something out before the Christmas holiday hits. This is the Barbecue Central Show. Stick around.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Who would have thought this music thing was going to go this far? I never asked for this. I never asked for this.
All right, we are back. 216-220-0966. Dennis Daniel writing, and Sterling is great. He just talked about Bill Murray being a regular guy. Funny story. I had a problem with an order from Big Papa Smokers. I called them after hours expecting to leave a message. Sterling answers. He hears my issue, assures me someone will take care of it in the morning. Sure enough. That's right. Just because Big Papa Smokers is a sponsor of the show, I buy rub from Big Papa Smokers. I buy rub from Butcher's Barbecue. I don't just kowtow to the sponsors and hope that I get free stuff. No. I support... What do I say? You want to support me? What can you do for the show? Frequent the sponsors. Buy from the sponsors. I do. And I don't want to be that much of a hypocrite. A little bit is all right. Big hypocrite, not so much. All right, things that I have to do tonight include renewing my internet address. I should just go right to YouTube. Just go directly to YouTube here on out, right? Probably be the best thing. All right, 216-220-0966. You can call in. We will play Winery or Rehab. Let me cue up the music. That's right. Everybody loves a little Milt Buckner, Robin's Nest, when we get ready. I had another Milt Buckner song. I don't know where the hell that went. Where did that go? Ration, Meathead, Pretenders, Vivaldi. That's when I do the English. Yeah, I don't know. All right, 216-220-0966. Yeah, that's right, Angela. Quit acting like you don't have a phone. The game is Winery or Rehab. That's right, Blake. This is traditional Cleveland music. It's on the top 40 list with a bullet heading upwards. You call in. I'll give you a name. You're going to tell me if that name is a winery or a rehab. I think by now you know the rules. You get 2 out of 3 right, and you win a unannounced prize pack. It'll be a surprise. It'll be worth it. Trust me. All right, let's go to area code 407. Name and where you're calling.
Matt from Orlando.
All right, Matt is it. How are you tonight, Matt?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you for asking. Matt, are you ready to play Winery or Rehab?
Absolutely.
All right, and you are familiar with how the game works?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to give you a name. Remember, you have 5 seconds to answer. Otherwise, I will drop the hammer and make fun of you ruthlessly for the next 2 to 3 seconds. Your first name, Matt. The Lake House Inn. Winery or Rehab?
Winery.
That's right. It is a winery. All right, so if you get the next one right, you will win a Butcher Barbecue prize pack. How about that?
That would be great.
Matt, are you excited?
Oh, absolutely. Butcher's the man.
All right, here we go. Your second name and potentially for all the marbles. Let's see here. The Old Firehouse. The Old Firehouse. Winery or rehab?
Rehab.
No. The Old Winehouse, of course, is a winery.
That sounded too easy.
That's right. So we are coming right down to the end. This one makes or breaks you. Winery or rehab, Matthew? The Cottage. Winery or rehab?
Winery.
Oh. Rehab. Come on. Barbecue food for you, as always, a stellar performance of Suck. So good. Love this game. All right, well, we got time for one more if you want to call in for the Butcher Barbecue prize pack, graciously donated by Dave Bosca and the folks over at butcherbbq.com. Angela Iverson with the strong critique, yet no balls to call in, but that's all right. Literally. Area code 321, name and where you're calling from.
Bob Parker from Orlando.
All right, Bob Parker is in. How you doing tonight, Bob?
Okay.
All right. Bob, are you ready to play a winery or rehab?
Yep.
All right, first name, Bob. Glen Bay. Glen Bay, winery or rehab?
Yeah. Winery.
No, Glen Bay is a rehab. I know that because it's located right here in Cleveland, Ohio, believe it or not. All right. Next name, you get this one wrong, Bob, I hang up on you and make fun of you. Otherwise, you're still good to go.
Everybody makes fun of me.
That's right. Sorry. Okay, next name, Bob. Sterling Finishes. Sterling Finishes. Winery or rehab?
Sterling Finisher. I'm probably going to be wrong, but that's got to be a winery.
No.
Oh, no.
Sorry, Bob.
We suck again.
2 wrong. That's it for you, sir. That is a rehab. Barbecue food for you. Sucking as always.
We suck again.
So good. Come on, it's Christmas time. Call in, win the free. Win the free. And you can start the new year off right. Area code 904, name and where you're calling from.
Hey, buddy, it's Blake Moody from Jacksonville, Florida.
All right, Blake is in tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. Glad to have Blake aboard. All right, Blake, we're going to play Winery or Rehab. Are you ready?
Oh, heck yeah.
All right. First name tonight, Blake. 4 wins. 4 wins. Winery or Rehab?
Winery or Rehab.
Are you there?
My 3-year-old says it's a rehab.
That's right. 4 wins is a rehab. Remember, you got to answer in 5 seconds, or I'm going to charge you against. All right, next name, Blake. The Old Mill. Is the Old Mill a winery or a rehab?
Hold on, it's coming. It's a winery, Greg.
That's right.
Oh, my 3-year-old won me that.
The 3-year-old wins the Butcher Barbecue prize pack. All right, Blake Jr. Let's call. All right, give your son props, Blake. Who's the winner of the house?
She's a girl, Greg.
Oh, sorry. Well, good for her. She's ready to start her time with Butcher Barbecue products. So Merry Christmas from your daughter to you, because you're actually probably the one that's going to use it. Blake, send me the shipping info, and I will get that down to Dave Bosca, and the good folks over at Butcher Barbecue will hook that up. All right, buddy?
All right, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, you got it. There he is, Blake Moody, winner, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Always fun to play a little winery or rehab as we twirl out the end of the segment. All right, folks, if you ever thought about getting your product on the show, all you have to do is contact me, Greg, at thebbqcentralshow.com, and we could talk, see if your product or service is right for the show. We do have a jeweler, mostly barbecue-related stuff. Grill manufacturer, what have you. Get in touch with me, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. I can forward you links on pricing, demographics, downloads, all that great stuff. Look from all of the other people that have been in the partner stable now for years and years. Something's right. You got to find out for yourself. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. The subject line, put partner. Tell me a little bit about yourself, and we'll go ahead and get it done. All right, we're back to wrap up the show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. Congratulations again to Blake Moody. Dave, be on the lookout for a forwarded email from me, from Blake, courtesy of his 3-year-old daughter. Hey, Dad! 13 years from now. Hey, Dad, remember right before Christmas in 2014 when I won your punk-ass Dave Bosca's product? Suck it, Dad. I'm better than you. Perhaps there's cause for concern that Blake's 3-year-old daughter knows the difference between winery or rehab. What? Well, we'll just say that it was lucky. It's lucky, Blake. It's lucky. All right. Let me go ahead and start the wrap here. All the way back in the first hour, as it was heavily King of the Smoker related, as it should be. A co-champ, Ryan Newstrom, Big T's Q Crew. Then we had third place overall, and who probably would have won any competition otherwise with the 704 or whatever he had. Joe Beelan, Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew. And then in the second hour, the creator of King of the Smokers, Sterling Ball, Big Papa Smokers Pitmaster, BigPapaSmoker.com, partner of this show. And also tailing the show, Blake Moody wins the Butcher Barbecue prize pack. Thanks to Dave Bosca for stepping up and donating the prize pack. That will be given to you. A couple things here before I let you go tonight. If you're using the raw cast iron, re-season it each and every time. As it starts to cool down, grill brush over the top, get it clean, then spray a little Pam. That's what I like. Or if you want, go old school, burn a little Crisco into that bad boy. Generations of rust-free service. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.